Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Kelly. Welcome to Be in the Change. I'm gonna get started by reciting my inspiration. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, which most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson. I'd like to say welcome to everybody who's watching me for the first time, and welcome back, and thank you to everybody who's been on this journey with me, where I started in 2019 stating out loud that I was breaking up with fear, I was breaking up with shame, and I was breaking up with guilt, followed by a weekly video for an entire year for my New Year's resolution, which I never told people what my resolutions were, because this way, if I didn't keep them, I wouldn't feel bad about myself, which is something I'm very comfortable at doing, feeling bad about myself. 2020 was to be kinder and more compassionate to myself and others. 2021 was to break up with processed sugar, and 2022 is to attach an income to what it is that I do for a job, which I still haven't pieced that together yet. So I'm working on all of that. So I was talking to you guys last week about sickness versus wellness, and how I wasn't well for a long time. You guys, I want to talk about codependency, because it is a word that gets thrown around all of the time. Most people don't know what it is. I didn't know what it is. It is an addiction of being needed and taking care of others. And you know, it's presented in this world like love, like kindness. This is what people who are kind do. This is people who are showing you love do. But really, it is a sickness. And when I came out of my drug addiction and alcoholism, I started to get a little bit better. And then I had my son, Angelo, and I went into codependency, which I didn't know this at the time. The codependency was, I felt his feelings instead of my own. So if something happened, that's not going to happen to him. You're never going to do that. Nothing is ever going to happen to him that happened to me. So I started I took his voice and I used him. It's hard to describe, but I went from, when I first had him, I felt nothing. Like, I was numb. It took me a month to realize, like, oh my God, I had a baby. I did not feel this instant connection. And I went to feeling nothing to, if anything ever happens to him, I will kill myself, which is an unhealthy dependency. And I didn't know it at the time. So, part of my sickness was I lived through him. What was fun for me? Fun for me was watching him have a good time. That was fun for me. These are the things that I told myself, but it actually kept me from getting to know myself and from taking care of myself. The fact that he needed me and other people needed me. I put myself in a position where people needed me. And then when people needed me too much, I would get mad, I would get resentful, and then I would withdraw myself. So I hope that makes sense of some of this codependency. But, you know, in movies, they're like, you complete me. Nobody completes you. God completes you. If you have to get your happiness outside of yourself, if somebody else is providing your happiness, it cannot last. Or vice versa, if you're making somebody else happy. So I want to tell you guys this. This is a preface of the Tinder Swindler. If you guys have watched this on Netflix, and it's like, oh my God, these poor girls got manipulated by this man, which a lot of people would look at and judge and say, oh my God, how come they didn't know that? How come they didn't see that? I would have been swindled by the Tinder Swindler years ago because of my sickness, because of my codependency, because of my need to be needed, because of my, Michelle, you're too sensitive. I always believed people when they told me things. Like I operated like a little kid in an adult's body. When you told me something, I believed you. I wanted to believe people. I was like a little kid. And so I was always so open. So when people told me things, I really, really wanted to believe the best in everyone. And I carried that into adulthood, and I was wounded a lot because I didn't realize a lot of times what people were saying, they didn't mean, or their words didn't match their actions. Mine didn't either. I didn't know this at the time, but I wanted to believe and trust everybody, so I did. And I got hurt a lot. So this Tinder Swindler, I watched it, but I am now single. I've been single for a couple of years, and you know, every once in a while, because I do these videos and I put myself out there, and you know, guys are sending me messages. And I got a message the other day, and it was from a guy who's a general in the US military, in the Army, and sent me a message on my page publicly on Facebook. And one of the things, even when I was on a dating website like Plenty of Fish or what else is there? Christian Mingle. If somebody sent me a message, I responded back to everybody, even if it was, no, thank you. I got your message. You're not my type. Thanks for reaching out. But it was great practice for me to say no. And it was also a way, most people are waiting for a response, to be seen and to be acknowledged. And so I would like other people to do that for me. So I try and be that and do that. So anyway, this guy put a public message on my Facebook page, but I privately messaged him and said, you know, thank you for your kind and brave words. It was very nice. However, I'm not interested. So this person continued to send messages back. I realized very quickly that this person was catfishing. And if you don't know the word catfish, it's people who pretend to be somebody else. So a lot of people right now are using military pictures as a way to get women. But because of the Tinder Swindler, I watched that, by the way, and holy shit, I could have been one of the girls. Because of all of these life experiences that I had, I can now tell when people talk and when they write what they're really saying. And I'm psychic, so I now know. I know what everybody's saying even when they don't say it, which I thought everybody had, but they don't. So anyway, I responded back like, no, thank you. And I realized right away, this person couldn't hear what I was saying. and proceeded to send messages back, so I blocked them. And then I talked to one of my girlfriends about it, and she's like, he said, I just would like to have a good conversation. And my one friend was like, just see what the good conversation is. And he sends back, I know you can make me happy. And guess what, guys? It is not my job to make anyone else happy. I can't make anybody else happy. And on top of that, I don't want this job, but curmudgeon men are drawn to me. They want me to fix them. They want me to make them happy, and they want to purchase me. And I'm not for sale, but I used to be. So I've learned all this stuff about myself. So I finally realized it was being catfished and how so many women fall for this. And I was one of them. I would have fell for it. But I now know it is not my job to make anybody else happy. I can't. It's my job to make myself happy. And I am. And I am this way without a man, without a child living in my house, without a pet, without a job, and I'm still happy, which is such a gift. So thank you to everybody who's watching. Please continue to watch, and I will see you guys all next week. Oh, P.S. I went for support for food. I went to go get help with my food because I'm still doing it, but it's so hard to do on my own, and I realize I need support with everything. So the acceptance process is still happening for me. Thanks so much. Stay safe, stay tuned, and I'll see you all next week.